Welcome back to the channel. It's good to have you here in the darkness with me. Tonight we delve into the unsettling, the unexplainable, the unknown. We're talking about glitches in reality, those moments that make you question everything you thought you knew, those cracks in our perception where fear seeps in. Are you ready to face the unknown? Then let's begin. Imagine this, a bustling city street, people going about their day, the usual urban symphony of car horns and distant sirens. The air is filled with the hum of conversations, the occasional shout, and the rhythmic footsteps of countless pedestrians. It's a scene of organized chaos where everyone has somewhere to be, something to do. Right in the middle of it all, a man walks down the street. Ordinary clothes, ordinary face, just another face in the crowd. He moves with the flow, unnoticed, unremarkable. To the casual observer, he is just another person in the sea of humanity. Except this man isn't ordinary at all. Witnesses say he seemed to hesitate just for a moment, as if listening to a voice no one else could hear. His eyes dart around, searching for something unseen, something only he can perceive. It's a fleeting moment, barely noticeable, but it's there. Then he simply vanishes, gone, poof, like he was never there at all. 1 second he's part of the crowd, the next he's just gone. No flash of light, no puff of smoke, just an empty space where he once stood. No trace, no struggle, no explanation. The people who saw it happen, they couldn't explain it. They looked around bewildered, trying to make sense of what they just witnessed. It was as if reality itself had played a cruel trick on them. The police searched, but they found nothing. No leads, no clues, no body. They questioned everyone, scoured the area, but it was as if the man had never existed. The investigation hit a dead end almost immediately. It's as if reality itself just swallowed him whole. The street, once so familiar, now seemed to hold a dark secret, an eerie sense of something beyond comprehension. This man, this ordinary man, became a ghost story whispered on street corners, a chilling reminder that sometimes people just disappear. His story spread, growing more mysterious with each retelling, a modern urban legend. But the question remains, where did he go? What happened to him? Did he step into another dimension, or was he taken by some unseen force? The mystery only deepens with time. Was it some kind of bizarre magic trick, a portal to another dimension, or something even more sinister? Theories abound, each more fantastical than the last, but none provide a satisfying answer. The unknown is a terrifying place, and in this case, it claimed a man in broad daylight. The fear of the unknown, the inexplicable, haunts those who witnessed it, and those who hear the tale. Think about that the next time you're walking down a crowded street. You never know when reality might glitch and take you with it. The world is full of mysteries, and sometimes they are closer than we think. Our next story takes us out of the city and into the quiet countryside, where the pace of life slows down and the air feels fresher. Here, amidst the rolling hills and dense forests, lies a mystery that defies the very fabric of time. A young woman, Sarah, was hiking alone one afternoon, enjoying the peace and quiet. She often sought solace in nature, finding it a perfect escape from the hustle and bustle of her daily life. The sun was shining, birds were singing, a perfect day for a walk in the woods. The forest was alive with the sounds of nature, a symphony of chirping birds and rustling leaves. As she rounded a bend in the path, something felt off. It was as if the atmosphere had shifted, and an inexplicable sense of unease washed over her. The air grew heavy, the sounds of the forest seemed muffled, and an unsettling stillness fell over everything. The vibrant forest seemed to lose its color, becoming a shadow of its former self. Then she saw it, a small cottage, nestled amongst the trees that seemed to shimmer in the sunlight. It was almost as if it was calling out to her, beckoning her to come closer. It looked old, ancient even, like something out of a history book. The architecture was unlike anything she had seen before, with an aura of mystery surrounding it. Drawn by an unknown force, Sarah approached the cottage. Each step felt heavy, as if she was walking through a dream, her curiosity overpowering her sense of caution. As she got closer, she heard faint music, like a melody from a bygone era. The notes were hauntingly beautiful, filling the air with a sense of nostalgia and longing. She reached for the doorknob, and suddenly the world around her dissolved into a dizzying blur. It was as if time itself was unraveling, pulling her into a different reality. When she opened her eyes, everything was different. The familiar forest had transformed into something unrecognizable, a place out of time. The cottage was gone, the forest looked different, and in the distance she saw people in clothes she'd only seen in museums. They moved with a grace and purpose that seemed foreign to her. She had slipped through time. The realization hit her like a wave, leaving her breathless and disoriented. Panic surged through her as she realized she was trapped in the past, a world she didn't belong to. Her mind raced with questions and fears, the weight of her situation pressing down on her. Minutes or perhaps hours later, the world blurred again, and Sarah found herself back on the familiar path, the sun still shining, the birds still singing. It was as if nothing had happened, yet everything had changed. The cottage was gone, vanished without a trace. The forest had returned to its serene state, leaving no evidence of the strange encounter. Was it a dream, a hallucination, or a terrifying glimpse into another time? The questions swirled in her mind, each one more unsettling than the last. Whatever the answer, Sarah's experience serves as a chilling reminder that time itself can be fractured, unstable, and utterly unpredictable. The forest, once a place of solace, now held a secret that would haunt her forever. Chapter 3. The Doppelganger Encounter. Our final story takes us back to the city, into the heart of a bustling university campus. The campus, usually teeming with life and energy, now lay silent under the cloak of night, its buildings casting long, eerie shadows. A young student, Mark, was walking home late one night after a grueling study session. The weight of his textbooks seemed lighter compared to the exhaustion that clung to his every step. The campus was mostly deserted, lit by flickering streetlights, shadows stretching out like grasping claws. The occasional rustle of leaves and distant hum of traffic were the only sounds breaking the silence. As he hurried across the quad, he noticed someone walking towards him. The figure was distant at first, a mere silhouette against the dim light, but it grew clearer with each step. As they drew closer, a chill ran down Mark's spine. The air seemed to grow colder, and an inexplicable sense of dread began to creep over him. It was him. Or rather, it was someone who looked exactly like him. The resemblance was uncanny, as if he was staring into a living mirror. Same face, same build, same clothes, even the same slightly crooked smile. It was as if his reflection had stepped out of the mirror and into the real world. The doppelganger stopped in front of him, a strange, knowing look in his eyes. It was a look that seemed to pierce through Mark, as if it knew every secret he had ever kept. "You look tired," the doppelganger said, his voice a distorted echo of Mark's own. The words hung in the air, heavy with an unspoken menace. "You should get some rest." The suggestion was simple, yet it carried an underlying threat that sent shivers down Mark's spine. Mark was frozen in place, fear rooting him to the spot. His mind raced, but his body refused to obey. He wanted to scream, to run, but he couldn't move. It was as if an invisible force held him captive, binding him in place. The doppelganger took a step closer, and Mark could have sworn he saw a flicker of something dark and hungry in those two familiar eyes. It was a look that promised something far worse than mere harm. Then, as quickly as it appeared, the doppelganger was gone, vanished into thin air. One moment it was there, the next it was as if it had never existed. Mark ran, his heart pounding in his chest, the echo of his own voice mocking him with every step. The campus that once felt like a second home now seemed like a labyrinth of shadows and fear. He never saw his doppelganger again, but the encounter left an indelible mark on his psyche. Nights were no longer a time of rest, but of restless thoughts and haunting memories. Who was that chilling reflection? Was it a figment of his imagination or something far more sinister? A messenger from another reality, a harbinger of something sinister, or a manifestation of Mark's deepest fears? The questions gnawed at him, each possibility more terrifying than the last. The encounter serves as a terrifying reminder that sometimes the most unsettling reflection we see is not in a mirror, but in the eyes of something that should not exist. It is a reminder that our greatest fears often come from within, taking shape in the most unexpected ways. The world is a strange and mysterious place, filled with shadows and whispers of things we can't explain. These glitches in reality, these cracks in our perception, they remind us that we don't know nearly as much as we think we do. If you enjoyed tonight's descent into the darkness, be sure to leave a like and tell me what terrified you the most. And if you dare, share your own encounters with the unexplainable in the comments below. Until next time, sleep tight and try not to think about the spaces between reality, because that's where the nightmares live.